a how do I put it now? I'm on a isolation right now. I'm on a hotel because before I go back offshore, I have to be on isolation for 2 weeks just to be very sure that just to be very sure that I do not have corona. They have to test me for corona before I'm not allowed to go back to the vessel where I work. So right now I'm on isolation in the hotel.
Oh wow, some strict conditions.
It's quite good. It's good to put such procedures in place, and it's just to ensure that everyone is safe.
Oh, okay. So the right pronunciation of your name is Chikwunonso, right?
Yes, Chikwunonso. Or you could just call me Nonso.
Okay, Nonso. Okay, so Nonso Oragwu. How do you pronounce your last name? Oragwu?
Yeah, that's correct. Oragwu.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. Let's get started.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Nigerian chess fans. I'm so excited to have Nonso, FIDE Master Nonso Oragwu with us today. So he is one of the top 10 Nigerian chess players with a FIDE rating of over 2,200. All right, so I'm excited to have you. Welcome. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Excellent. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about you? When did you start playing chess? What got you interested in chess?
Okay, so I started playing chess from a very young age. I was about 7 years old then. It's what we normally do. I grew up in the University of Port Harcourt, so we have kids around the streets. We learn different games. We learn basketball. We learn football. We learn different sports. So everyone wants to be the best. That was like the number one motivation. So when I learned chess, I wanted to try and beat the people around my street. So that's how I started. that's the first journey. So that was just it.
Wonderful. So you learned chess from the streets. It's not your parents did not introduce it to you, not your siblings.
No, just like my neighbors. My neighbors, I just taught me, this is the way the game is, and from there I started to play, and I liked it a lot because I was winning people. So it's quite a nice game.
Oh wow! So you just learned by playing with guys. You didn't study, no coaching, and all of a sudden you started winning, and you got more interested in the game.
Yeah. So I got lucky. So in the initial start, all I did was just play friends around the streets. Then it was much later, after a couple of years, about maybe 4 years after, I learned the game. Then I got a coach. And that was because I was just lucky. I grew up in university, so I had some of the top chess players in Nigeria were able to teach me, like especially Kramer Alalibo. He was a professional coach then. He was also doing his master's in university. So I was still very young. I was about maybe 15 years old then when I met him, and he started to teach me and introduce me to the chess books and different ways of studying, and started to work on my opening. So that was when I started to really get very strong from his help.
Oh wow, wonderful! So this was when you were about 18. You were still in your secondary school then, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I was about 17 years old then when I started to. Sorry, about 15 years old then when I started to learn from him. Yeah, when he started to coach me.
Okay, excellent. Which school did you go to?
So I went to University of Port Harcourt.
No, I mean the secondary school.
Secondary school, okay, Federal Government College, Port Harcourt.
Okay, in Rumokoro. Okay.
Yes, Rumokoro. That's
excellent. I'm from Rumibo, so I know all of those areas.
Okay, that's nice.
I'm a Port Harcourt boy. Okay, all right, excellent. So, so you were lucky. You got a coach very early on. I think that's something a lot of young players in Nigeria didn't have access to growing up when they were in chess. So that's good. So tell me a little bit. So when you now got access to coaching, you started studying chess, started improving. When did you start playing competitively?
Okay, I already started playing competitively like a year ago. So
Okay.
when I was like 14 years old, I went for a competition. But the major competitions I started to play was when I joined the university. So I joined university at about 16 years old. That was when I started to play major events, and that was like Nuga Games. You know, the Nuga Games,
That's right.
which
Yeah, yeah.
all universities, those were the first events that I would really call prestigious events I started to play. And the first Nuga Games, I already won a bronze medal on my board at a
Oh,
very young age.
wow.
So it was,
So tell us a little bit for the Nuga Games. I know for you to qualify to represent the University of Port Harcourt, that will require some, you had to overcome a few obstacles, I guess. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you become known as one of the top players at the University of Port Harcourt?
so right from like I said, I was already growing up in university. So I was playing the guys at the university right from I was like 14 years old.
Oh, even before you became a student.
Even before I became a student. So I was already playing them. I was already beating some of them. So the guys, the chess captain already knew my strength. He knew that this guy is a very promising player, and I already had a coach, Kram Alalibo, who was already coaching me. And that really boosted me so much and made me quite higher than my fellow peers. So the moment there was the Nuga Games, the guys there already knew I was in the team because they could feel my strength. Sometimes I beat them, so they're like, "Oh, we should take this guy." And I was quite young then, so it was a form of exposure for me too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
form of
wow. So
exposure.
that's good. So you show up in your first Nuga game, you win a bronze in.
I won a bronze medal on my board, and I won a team silver.
Wow, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you remember what year this was? This
That
was
was that was 2017 January.
2017 Noga Games. Okay.
Yeah, 2017 games.
Excellent. Where was this held? What city?
That was held in Meduguri.
Oh, in Maiduguri. Okay. Okay. Oh,
Meduguri.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I remember playing, I think I played in maybe one or two Noga games because I went to ABU.
Okay.
Played chess as part of the Noga games. Interesting. Okay, so that's good. So when did you? So I would imagine you played a couple of other Noga games. So you played Noga games almost every year. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. It was, I think Nougat Games was it every year? I think so. Yeah.
It was
So I
once
played virtually all Nougat Games while I was in university. But I think you're allowed to play only 3 Nougat games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that was the rule. So I played the 3 Nougat games because the first one I played as just a player, which I won the bronze medal. Then the second one I played, I think I became the chess captain then, because
Okay.
when the chess captain then was about to hand over, was about to leave the school, he looked around, and as much as they were older players than me, but he knew I was someone that was very devoted to the game because I was always coming around to open the chess club. I was always there till late at night, studying, playing among friends, and making sure that the chess balls and everything is well organized and in place. So he felt like, okay, this guy should be the chess captain, and he handed over to me. So I went to the next single game as the chess captain. Then I think I won a gold medal then. It's been a while, so I cannot remember exactly what I won in the subsequent Nougat games. But I know my best outing in university was in the West Africa University Games. So that was where I won West Africa University Games they held in Ilori. So that was like 2012. I was just graduating then. I just graduated, about to go for my NYSC. I just about to graduate. So I won 2 gold medals and 1 silver. That was a very nice outing for me.
Oh, wow, wonderful. West
So the
African
two
University
gold,
Games. Okay.
yeah, I won a gold on my board. I won a gold as a team. Then I won a silver medal as Blitz event.
Wonderful, wonderful. And this was representing University of Port Harcourt as well?
Yeah, that was representing.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So that's great. So tell us a little bit. I know playing chess and doing academics can be very challenging. I know how I almost failed myself in my second year when I was spending so much time on chess. So tell me, how were you able to balance your academics and chess?
Okay, it wasn't very easy, but I would like to first of all thank my parents because they actually helped me. They could see the talent, they could see the talent I had, and they could see my ambition and my will for the game. So they were always encouraging and ready to let me play chess. But notwithstanding, they always used to check me and ensure that I'm studying. So, so as much as they allow me to play chess, when I come back at home, they want to make sure they come to my room and check to see if I'm studying. So because of all that, I had no choice than to study. And I actually like academics, so I actually like to solve maths. I used to like to think. I still like to think. So that used to help me a lot. That balance, the fact that I was staying at home, my parents, I couldn't avoid studying, and I had to prove to them that I could combine chess and academics because there was a point they were not really very happy. But with my good grades in school, I was doing very well in school, and I graduated with a second class upper. So that helped me a lot. That convinced them that this boy can actually combine these two games. So all I was trying to do was just manage my time. I know, okay, from this time to this time, I'll be playing chess, and from this time to this time, I'll be studying. Then I think that was just how I got lucky about combining it, and that was how I was able to manage.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful because I know that's one thing, that's one area where a lot of people struggled. Because what eventually happens is you end up giving up one, right? So you either give up chess and focus your academics, just as I did. I had to give up chess at some point to be able to graduate. On the other hand, some people will have to give up their academics and pursue chess. It's rare to see people that can balance it, and I think that requires a lot of discipline. So it looks like at a very early age, you were able to discipline yourself, setting times when you study, times when you have to study chess, and times when you have to study your academics. So that's impressive.
That's true.
That's right. And it's exciting to hear that you had the support from your parents early on. I think that's very encouraging as well.
Oh, very nice. And notwithstanding, you still need to give it to the people around you. So even the chess players around me, we all knew that it could be a problem if you do not manage your time. So we used to talk about it and say, okay, I'm going to play chess for 2 hours. So the way we do it is you play chess, you tell yourself, I'm just going to play for 2 hours, then I'll go and read. Or I'm going to play till 9 p.m., then I'll go and read. So you before you start, you agree on the time. So that's a good way to manage your time. So if you tell yourself that I'm going to do this for this amount of time, then after that, I'm going to go and study, then there's a very high chance you keep to it. But if you don't give yourself any time limits for the game, then you could just play chess till the next morning without even knowing.
That's right. That's right. No, I totally
I
agree.
remember doing that a lot of times. Like I go to play chess, but that was mostly when I was on school, when we were on school break. So you go play chess and you play chess overnight, and in the morning you're still playing chess.
That's right. I know. I recall those days. Well, interesting. So, so you got into University of Port Harcourt, already doing very well in chess. Now qualified, representing the University of Port Harcourt at major events. What about the states? Did you get a chance to represent the states at the national event?
Like I said, so because of the friends I had in Uniport then were all state players. So as much as they were in the team Uniport, they were representing Uniport, they were also representing one state or the other. So at a very young age, because I was playing with them all the time and they could see that quality of my games, that innovative idea, that calculation, and they, you know, when someone wins you, you respect that person. You cannot take it away. You can't say this person is good. For this person to maneuver the pieces, outplay me and win me, then this person is a good player. So at a very young age, at about 18 years old, when I was in like 200 level, or about 200 level, I started to get offers from different states because those players in Uniport were helping me out. They went to their state and they told their state, I have someone in Uniport that is very good. I would like you to please employ him or give him a form of allowance or opportunity for him to showcase his talent. So I had some offers coming from Bayelsa State, Delta State, Rivers State, or your state. So there were 4 states already asking for me to come around to play trials or to come and take a form of stipend so that they can lock me in. But when I at that young age, I went to Delta State because I think Delta State, they were winning the National Sport Festival then, and they were the states, they knew how to take care of the athletes. So I knew very well that if you win a gold, a silver, or a bronze for Delta State, you get an employment. So there was a lot of benefits in playing for Delta State. So I went for Delta State trials. So my friend Ochuko Onovige, a very good friend of mine, he took me to Delta State. He said, no, let's go to Delta State and play for Delta State. So we went to Delta State trials, and I topped the trials with all the state players. So the coach was like marveled, like this boy, a young boy from nowhere, topping the trials, taking first position. So that was how I got like an allowance, a monthly allowance. So they started to give me a monthly allowance. That was
wonderful.
To ensure that I cannot go to any other state. Then after I played my first national sport festival at, I think I was 18 then, I won a gold medal.
Wow.
So I won a gold medal at the National Sport Festival because I was young then and I was unknown. People did not know who I was. So people were like, not really, so they were like, they didn't know what to expect from me. So
that's right.
The first gold medal, I got employed. That was how my chess career skyrocketed, because that just told me that there's a future.
Wow, that's wonderful. So at 18, probably in your second or first year at the university, now you're getting monthly allowance, you're winning a gold medal. How did that make your parents feel? How did that even make you feel?
That made me feel very, very, very satisfied with the kind of hard work I've put in. It made me feel happy. My parents felt very happy too, because it was a big deal then. It was really a big deal. I got 500,000 naira as a young 18 years old boy.
Wow.
So if they recognizing you and giving you that for winning a gold medal, it was a big deal then. And I was also doing well in school. I was like I said, I was in my 2-1. So I was doing very well in school too. So when they looked at it, they were like, this boy is complete. There's no reason why we should stop him from playing chess, because he's playing chess, he's making money, and he's also doing well academics. So at that point, I was actually paying for my academics, like paying for my school fees and all my books and all that, because I was making money from the state.
That's right. So now you're achieving a lot of success in chess. Not just that, in addition to that, you're earning some decent income from the game as well. Getting support from your parents, from your fellow chess players at the University of Port Harcourt. So that's very impressive. So how did you now enter the national scene? Or what were some of your dreams at that point when you were achieving all of this success? Or what were some of the goals you were looking to accomplish?
So while I was achieving that, still in the like Nuga games, I used to meet some national players like Bomo Kigiga, Inimo. Those are players that have represented Nigeria, or they were in the national camp and all that. So they used to tell me stories of how when they travel abroad for events and how the All African Games camp used to be. So all those stories fascinates me, and it started to make me feel like I can actually be a top Nigerian chess player, because these are players, they were all around the South, and they were all playing. We all used to play on a regular basis, and sometimes I do win them. So, and I started to ask myself, if I can win these players, then that means I could actually make the national team. So that was what started to make me work harder. That was what started to make me work harder and improve. I started to study lines, started to study my openings, and do a lot of work to ensure that I can join the national teams. So back in 2000, so I just want to tell you how I represented a country. In 2012, I was just finishing school then. I was just about to graduate. And there was a national trials for the Olympiad. There was a national trials for the Olympiad. So I spent about 4 months before the trials, or 3 months before the trial. I was just studying. I just graduated. So all I was just doing is just chess, morning, afternoon, night, morning, afternoon, night. I was just
wonderful.
trying to.
Did you get a coach? Were you working with a coach at that point?
No, at that point, I was working on my own because at that point, I already had people that have been advising me in the past, but I had a lot of materials, a lot of videos, a lot of books, a lot of puzzles, a lot of information. All I was doing is just working on my own at that point. And that was how I got lucky to qualify for the to represent Nigeria back in 2012.
Okay, so in 2012, there had to be a qualification tournament. Is that how it worked at that time? Okay.
Yeah, at that time there was a trials. It was an open. It was called an open trials, where any Nigerian can come and attend.
And that was in Lagos, right? I would imagine.
That was in Abuja.
Oh, in Abuja, okay.
That was in Abuja. So I have to still give gratitude to my dad, because he was the one that actually gave me transport money to go for the trials. I wasn't 100% sure of myself because if you're going to pay your transportation, your hotels, and other expenses to attend the trials, there's no guarantee you're going to qualify, because at that point I wasn't even playing in the match.
Hello, I think I've lost.
You say that just go and do it. You can make it. You can make the team. And even if you don't make the team.
Sorry, I think I lost your connection there. Hello?
Okay, I think, are you back?
Yeah. Okay, I think I lost.
So, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, let's start all over. I think I lost you there.
Okay, I'll just change. Okay, so is it better now?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay,
yeah. So yeah, you were talking about the travel to Abuja and all the expenses.
Okay. Yeah, traveling to Abuja. So it was quite a bit of an expense, and nothing was guaranteed. So for the encouragement from my dad, and he gave me the transport and everything, all my expense. He paid for every expense. So that encouraged me, and that gave me that zeal to just go and play. And luckily, I was able to qualify. I wasn't under any form of pressure, because sometimes when some chess players, when you borrow money from people to attend an event, you're under a lot of pressure to win,
to perform. That's right.
To perform. So because it was my dad, I was not under any kind of pressure. I was just playing. I was just enjoying myself, and that was how I was able to make the Olympia team.
So tell us a little bit about that event. So was it a 9-round event, or how many rounds?
Yeah, that was a 9-round event. Yeah.
9-round event. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the tournament. How was your performance in that tournament? Okay, I would imagine at that point you were not even known that well in the national scene.
Yeah. So I got a little bit lucky in that event. But as much as I was already very strong then. I wouldn't say very strong. I would say I had a decent strength, in the sense that I could outplay anybody. I was very tactical then. I was a young guy, so I wasn't really scared of anything. There was nothing like rating compared to now. So during the game, I could come up with a very spectacular sacrifice. Like my first game, I think my first game was against Bomo Kikiga. So I sacrificed my knight and my bishop for his 2 pawns and a rook, which got a complicated position. It's a position where it all depends on how the position looks like. That would be able to determine if if black or white is better. But I took the risk because I wanted a complicated position. I know he's a very positional player, and I know he's someone that can grind you slowly. So I wanted the position to be very dynamic, in the sense that it can go anywhere. I'm the underdog. I was the underdog. So if I lose, I have nothing to lose. Right. So, but he has more to lose. So he has to be more careful. So with such a dynamic position, he was not able to fully calculate every single variation. And that was how I got lucky and I won that game. So that was a very important game for me. Mm-hmm. So that was how I started to build up against all the masters players, and I think I did not lose any game I did not lose any game in the tournament.
Oh wow,
I did
wonderful.
not lose any game in that tournament. So I drew a couple of games. And I won about, I think I won about 5 games. I think I won about 5 games, and I drew 4 games. Yes.
Oh
So
wow, wonderful. So
that
you ended up
ended
with like
with
7 points.
7/9. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's good. So that you probably finished in the top 3 or top 5?
Yes, I finished in the top 3. I was the third position. I took third position in that event.
Wow, wonderful. That's awesome. And so with that, you were able to qualify for was it the 2012 Olympiad?
That was 2012 Olympiad held in Turkey.
Oh, okay, okay.
And luckily enough, we as a team, we went to Turkey and we won a gold trophy in category E.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Who were the members of that team?
So we had Dapadu. So
Okay,
Dapadu was the #1 man. He was the first in the trials because he just came from the US for that trials, and he beat everyone and qualified. Then Bomo took second. Bomo was the second man. Then I was the third man. Then we have Yinka Adesina.
Okay,
Yinka Adesina. Sorry to say, but we call him he's a doctor, and he plays very, very spectacular sacrifices. We call him the Mad Doctor.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then we have the last person, Femi Balogun. He was the 5th person in the team.
Okay. And these are probably outside of Dapo, most of you will probably be playing in your first Olympiad then, right? I would imagine.
I would imagine, yes. I think I'm not very sure if Boma has played one before, but I think most of us that was our first Olympiad. A lot of us were unrated. I was unrated. The Yinka was unrated. Femi Balogun was unrated.
Okay.
So it was just Dapo and Bomo that had ratings.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the struggles and challenges you had making your way up the ladder in the Nigerian chess scene? I know you would have had some very bad losses along the way. Some of the things that probably crushed your hopes in chess. So why don't you talk a little bit about those?
Okay, so let me start from when I was much younger. So when I was much younger, like I said, I was a very tactical player. I'm still very tactical, but right now I still try to make everything. I'm very cautious about everything I do now compared to when I was much younger. So yeah. I used to try and play a lot of spectacular sacrifices. So I felt some heartbreaks in some events. Like my first MBL, I was already winning it, and I started to go all tactical, and I couldn't win the event again, and I took 4th position. So that really made me feel very, very sad. So with such a loss, you start to realize that chess is a game. It doesn't just involve one aspect. It involves every single thing. You need to think about the opening, the middle game, and the end game. So if you want to go all tactical in the middle game, you have to remember the fact that there could actually be an end game, and you could actually have a lost position in an end game if that is not. So so that was one of a challenge for me. I wouldn't really say finance was a challenge in my chess career, because in a way I got lucky at a young age. I got employed at a young age, but that could be a very big challenge for a lot of chess players.
That's right. I agree.
So I slowed down in chess around 2013. So that was one of the challenges I've had in chess is when I slowed down. And that really affected my chess growth, because in 2013, after I just came back from the Olympiad, so I just finished my NYSC, and I wasn't really 100% fulfilled with the way a national representative was fully treated, in the sense that financially I wasn't in the level I wanted to be.
That's right.
So we won a gold trophy. But we did not get any form of full compensation for that. So,
Oh, wow.
so yeah, we got an allowance, which was nice, but the compensation wasn't very, very nice. So I actually wanted to get a regular job. I didn't want to go full-time professional in chess because I actually liked what I do. I like engineering in the sense that it involves a lot of creativity too. So
That's right.
I wanted to get a regular job. So what I did was I started to slow down with chess because it wasn't very easy to combine that and with work.
That's
Study
right.
is different from work because for work you cannot really tell your boss you want to travel and play chess.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times when you're working, it also involves you studying too. So you're studying and you're working in the sense that if you're given an assignment, you need to try and research on that assignment to be able to
That's
accomplish it very well. So
right.
it was especially as a young engineer, it's quite difficult. And I was about to start my master's degree then. So I was doing my master's degree in offshore engineering. So it was very difficult so I slowed down a little bit. So it was only till maybe a couple of years ago, maybe let's say 2018, 2017, that's when I started to come back into playing actively and training because notwithstanding, even if I slow down in 2013, I was still playing, maybe I might play like one tournament in a year, which would even reduce my rating.
That's right.
Because 2013 was when I achieved my highest rating. That was when I became Nigeria #1 in June.
Oh, you were number one in Nigeria at some point?
Yeah, I was Nigeria #1 at
Oh, wow.
2013.
2013. That was after the Olympiad, right?
Yes, after the Olympiad. So after the Olympiad,
wow. Congrats, that's awesome.
after the Olympiad, and I finished my NYSC. So I now started. At the moment when I was doing my NYSC, that was when I became the highest rated player. But immediately after my NYSC, I started to look for a job. You know, parents they see their son has graduated from university with a good grade. They expected me to be working in an oil company and earning a lot of money. They don't want me to. They did not feel satisfied with me just playing chess. And me myself, I did not feel satisfied with me just playing chess because I feel the human brain is so powerful and it's so well equipped that you could do a lot of things. You could actually play chess. You could actually be working. You could actually have a family. You could actually, combine everything. It's not easy, but if you manage your time properly, you can actually do everything. So I started to explore more, and that was how I slowed down, and that's how I came up again in chess. So that was one of the challenges. The fact that I had to start working, that was a challenge. Then another challenge I had initially was opportunity, sponsorship. So when I say sponsorship, yes, I was able to get sponsorship from my dad to move around Nigeria for chess events, but I was not well equipped with enough money to travel abroad to play more. So if I want to become a grandmaster, or if I want to become whatever title I want to become, it's easier, it's faster if you go abroad. It's almost impossible to become a grandmaster from staying in Nigeria. So it was only till 2018 I started to travel abroad. Like I traveled to Ghana for the zonals. That's when I got my FM title.
Oh, okay, at the zonals. Okay.
Yeah, at the zonals.
In Ghana, 2018. Okay.
Yeah, then I traveled to Tunisia. Tunisia was when I won my first grandmaster.
Oh wow, wonderful.
So like I said, the three major challenges I would say I had was the issue with work.
That's right, combining chess with work. Yeah.
Combining chess with work. Then the second one I would say is finance in sense of traveling abroad.
That's right.
Then the third one I would say was when I was playing too aggressive. Too aggressive as a young boy, but I've overcome almost everything, and I hope to achieve bigger success.
Well, that's wonderful. That's interesting to hear because that's what life is all about, right? So life is all about coming up against challenges and trying to figure out a way to overcome them. And I'm impressed that you were able to overcome some of these challenges. So what I want to talk a little bit about is the FM title. So you got your FM title in Ghana, 2018. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that event. What was it like to become an FM?
Okay, well, it's a nice experience, but so I'll just mention that I already got my CM title at the Olympiad.
Oh,
So
that's right. That's right.
so but that was back in 2012. So I
Right.
did not play any international event to get any title till 2018. So you can see it's quite a long time because
That's
of
right.
work and all. But at Ghana, I was already training before the event, and I was actually going for my IM title, because if I win the event, I become an IM. So that was my dream already. I was already playing to become an IM, and I was very close to it. But it was not an easy event. There were a lot of very strong Nigerians there. So what happened was that there were 4 people that were leading the event at the point. So we had me, Femi Balogun, Daniel Anwoli, and Ajibola. So 4 of us were leading the event. We had, I think, 5/7 then.
Mm-hmm.
So I got paired with Femi Balogun, and Daniel got paired with Abimbola. No, got paired with Jibola. So 4 of us got paired, and I couldn't cross through Femi Balogun because he was an IM then, and he's still a very strong player. So I couldn't cross through him. So I got a draw with him, and Daniel won Jibola. So the moment Daniel won Jibola, it was like a free road to him. So he was now the only one leading the event, because 4 people were leading the event. He won his game, while me and Femi Balogun drew. So he was the only one leading the event. And once he started to lead the event, he just went through and won the entire event. So luckily enough, I was able to still win most of my games, and I finished 2nd position in that event. That's how I got the FM title.
Oh wow, wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's good. That's interesting. So when it comes to West African chess, looks like Nigeria is leading the way.
Yeah, definitely. We've been on top for a very long time right now.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. All right, excellent. Outside of West Africa, so are there other events you've competed in?
So I went to outside West Africa. I went to Tunisia in 2018.
That was for an All Africans event, right?
That was African individuals, yes.
Okay. How was your performance there?
Yeah, it was an average performance. I finished 4.5 out of 9, but it wasn't an easy event, because my first round I got paired against a grandmaster. It's actually called, I can't remember his name, but it's actually the Egyptian coach. But he's quite an advanced man. When I say advanced, he's quite maybe about in his 50s or 40s or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I think in his 50s. So when I meet such a player, I was already preparing for the event. I've been preparing for the event for a couple of months before then. So I've already looked through most of the Egyptians. I already know the way they play. I knew very well that the guy was like more of a conservative player. So I was going to go aggressive on him. But I didn't want to start it in an aggressive way, because those kind of players, he's a grandmaster. He understands chess. He understands the opening. So if I want to try and rush it in the opening, I might just over push my pieces, and he will be able to find the counter attack and win the game easily. And I will now be looking like a 1-9 player, or a player that doesn't know how chess works. So I played quietly in the opening, and when it got to the middle game, I started to push my pieces, because and that's when I knew that I wanted a complicated position. I started to make the game complicated. It got to a point where I sacrificed my rook for an exchange, and I offered him a draw. He looked at the position, and he knew very well that all my pieces were going to keep coming at him. So he accepted the draw, because he didn't want to take any risk. He didn't know me from anywhere. So he was like, it is safer to take a draw than for me to win him at such an early stage, especially in round 1. So in round 2, that was when I beat the grandmaster in round 2.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
I beat a couple of players in Tunisia, and finished with 4.5. So it was a fair event for me. It's my first outing in the African individuals. So getting half of a score was quite good.
Oh,
Then
that's good.
that was 2000. That was my first event outside. Okay, that was my second event outside West Africa. So in 2020,
Yeah.
I think that was when I went for. Sorry, I think the Tunisia was 2019. Then 2020 was when I went for what's this event in Seville, Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Seville. I went for an event in Spain.
Yeah.
So that it was called Sevilla
Okay.
Opens. So it's about 300 players were there. a lot of players came for the event. A lot of players all over Europe. Players from America came and all that. It was a very hard event. I was lucky that so I drew a grandmaster there. There I did not lose any game at
Oh,
Seville.
okay. That's impressive.
I did not lose any game. So I finished with 6.5/9. So I drew a grandmaster. That was where I drew Mr. Pap. So that was quite an impressive event. But I did not lose any rating and I did not gain any rating. My main objective for going for such an event was actually to gain rating because, like I said before, I slowed down in chess. So I was trying to build up to get back to top 5 in Nigeria.
That's right.
Because that was the only way I could. That's the way to represent Nigeria now. You have to be in the top 5 to represent Nigeria. So
That's
I was
right.
trying to build up my rating. So I was able to play that event very well. I finished, I think 20. I tied 16th to 28th out of about 300 players all over Europe. So it was,
Oh, wow.
a good one. It was a good morale booster for me.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about your dream going forward. Are you looking forward to be an IM? Are you looking forward to getting a GM title? What are your biggest dreams now when it comes to chess?
Okay, so right now I already have an IM norm. So as much as I need 2 more IM norms to become an international master, or I could get it from a zone house, like winning a zone house. But that's not my big dream. That's not my biggest dream right now. My biggest dream is to become a grandmaster, because I feel that's the ultimate, as in the sense that you feel fulfilled when you hold the title of a grandmaster, and I'm working towards it by playing international events, and like in Gibraltar, after I beat a grandmaster there in Gibraltar again. So I went for another event in Gibraltar and I beat the grandmaster. So it started to give me that feeling like the title is not far away. Yeah, it requires a little bit of more hard work, a consistency in working hard, because it's not just about working hard for 1 month, then you stop for 3 months. So I think I'm working toward becoming a grandmaster, which is not far away. Okay,
so tell us about some of your plans for that. So that will require you competing in a lot of international events, in particular maybe somewhere in Europe or coming to North America. So tell us, what are some of your plans or things you're looking at?
Yeah, so for me, for right now, I'm just I already had some events planned out before the issue about Corona. My plan was I was going to be attending any international event in Europe during my time off, because I work offshore, so I do 5 weeks offshore and 5 weeks at home, or 4 weeks offshore and 4 weeks at home. So my plan was, during my time at home, I was going to actually go to Europe to play a chess event.
That's right.
Because I already have like a morale booster, in the sense that I've been doing well. Any event I go for in Europe, I do well. So like the one in Sevilla, I did very well. The event I went for in Gibraltar, I did very well. I won a prize, which we're going to talk about later. My plan was just to go attend any event, especially grandmaster norm event.
That's right. That's right.
That was my plan.
And those are not cheap events. Those are expensive events. So I'm assuming you're funding yourself, or do you have sponsorship?
No, I actually don't have any sponsor for now. I'm going to be funding myself, and some of these events, like let's say the African amateur chess championship, which I won. I won the African amateur chess championship, and that helped me to get a free flight, a free hotel for the World Amateur Chess Championship. So that's an opportunity for me to go to Europe to play a very big event too. That's an event, but even if it's under 2,300, but it's going to be filled with a lot of strong players. And don't forget that most of those players are going to be having coaches, grandmaster coaches.
That's right.
So it's almost like I'm facing a grandmaster, because most of their opening preparation will be preparation that have been done by grandmasters, because the grandmaster looks at your game and can identify your weakness and say, okay, I want you to play this line against this player. I think he finds it difficult. Do you understand? So
that's right.
I feel it's a big event, the African World Amateur Chess Championship, which was meant to hold in April, but because of the corona, it's been postponed to October.
Okay. Are you working with a grandmaster coach right now?
Yes, I'm working with the grandmaster coach. So I just started to work with the grandmaster coach in January after the Gibraltar event, because initially I did not really think it was very important. I did not really feel. I had a lot of friends that were working with grandmaster coaches, but I did not think it was very important. I felt it was not a big deal. But
do you still feel that way now?
No, I feel it's very important. I feel it's very important now, because the reason why I felt it wasn't very important, yes, it's expensive. Then I felt, because I had a lot of material, because I have to thank Boyo too. Paul Boyo is a Nigerian coach. He gave me a lot of chess materials. Right. Like it involves a lot of chess-based videos, chess-based books, a lot of information, like over 200 gig of data. So such an information, you feel like you can actually work on your own and get better and beat a grandmaster. But it gets to a point where when I got to Gibraltar and when I faced some of those grandmasters, yeah, I got successful in some of the games. Some of the games I was close to winning. Some of the games I was close to draw, but I still lose. So I started to speak with them a lot, and I tried to understand where I'm going wrong. And they tried to explain to me that I need guidance. So from my own understanding, I understood the fact that I needed guidance. And luckily enough, I got, I wouldn't want to mention his name yet, but a grandmaster coach that is helping me out. He's guiding me, he's teaching me a lot of new information. He's able to identify few of my problems in chess. And it's helping me to eliminate those weaknesses. Identify weaknesses and it's trying to help me eliminate them. So I'm working on those weaknesses right now.
Well, that's impressive. And I'm glad to hear that you've embraced coaching. And it's no surprise to me. I mean, it helped you early on when you started in chess. And so you know the value of coaching. And I'm so happy to hear that you're taking advantage of that right now as you look forward to getting your IM title and hopefully your grandmaster title. So that's impressive. And so that's one of the reasons why we've started this venture. We want to look for ways to support our top Nigerian players, give them more exposure internationally. So some of the things we'll be doing is also to actually seek sponsorship and directly use those funds to support young players like you. So this year, I am hosting the Canadian Open this year, but we've had to cancel it. It was supposed to be in July. We've had to cancel it because of coronavirus. But I think I will also have the opportunity to host it maybe next year or the year after. And one of the things I want to do is to bring in as many Nigerian players as possible. And we want to sponsor them. So that's the opportunity we're trying to do, to sponsor them. Hopefully, if we can, certainly we'll provide them free. One thing I know we can provide right now is free registration for the event as well as accommodation, right? So I know I can do that. So right now it's just to look for sponsorship for their flights and travel, and their feeding while they're here. So those are some of the things we are working with. We'll try and make that happen next year. So at least now we have more time to plan for that next year if the event happens next year. All right, so that's impressive. So why don't you tell us a little bit, what are you up to these days? What's keeping you busy? And what are you up to these days? What are you doing these days?
Okay. So the coronavirus has actually made everyone stay at home, and it's if you do not take advantage of it, you would really feel very bored. So what I'm doing right now, I'm actually passing through, like, how do I put it now? I'm training. I'm passing through an intensive kind of training. So I'm doing a 7 hours training every day.
Oh wow! In chess.
7 hours chess training, and which I don't mind sharing it with the users, because it's not something where a lot of chess players do. A lot of Nigerian chess players spend all their day just playing blitz.
That's right.
Playing blitz, which I don't really think it does a lot of help to you. Yes, you might be a strong blitz player, but when it comes to classical chess, it's a different ball game. It involves a lot of decision, because one of the things in classical events is that you might be able to see 3 different variations, and it's only a strong classical player that would make the right decision, because there's going to be a move that you make that looks like a blitz move. And if you keep playing blitz every day, you start to make blitz moves, which is not a good thing in classical events.
That's right.
You need to make a move that warrants the position. You need to make a move that the position says this is what the move should be. That's not right. Because you're an aggressive player or a positional player. So if the position has gotten to an aggressive stage, you need to play aggressively. If the position has gotten to a positional stage, you need to play positionally. So it all depends. You need to play according to the position, not according to what you like to, the way you like to play.
That's right.
So right now, I try to as much as the training involves I'm trying to spend like 2 hours on studying a chess book, not any chess book, but a book on endgame.
Okay.
Because like everyone knows, chess is a game that involves the three aspects. It involves the opening, involves the middle game, and involves the end game. So you need to constantly work on those 3 aspects. The moment you put all your energy in one aspect, the other aspect lacks. So I spend about 2 hours every day studying an end game book. Then I spend about 1 hour on tactics. Because yes, in the middle game, it's a lot of tactics are involved. Even in the opening, you could get some tactics. So it's very important. At the long run, you find out that chess is all about calculation.
That's right.
It's all about calculation. So it is always good to sharpen your tactics all the time.
That's
you cannot take that away. You need to keep working on your tactics, because if you don't do that, even if you come out better in the opening, your opponent can come to a particular position in the middle game and start to bring his pieces at you. Start to throw everything at you. It might be inaccurate, but if your tactics is not sharp, you won't be able to see it, or you won't be able to defend it.
That's true.
So it's good for your tactics to be very sharp. So I'm working on tactics. I spend about 1 hour working on tactics. Then I spend 2 hours watching a chess video. So sometimes the chess video varies. It could be a chess video on the opening. It could be a chess video on the end game. It could be a chess video on the middle game. But most times, I think it's better to like watch videos on like anything you can get your hands on. It's not good to like narrow yourself to anything. So I just watch a chess video, especially when I know it's going to be educative by someone that is quite respected in the world. I know that this video is quite good. I like to watch that.
Do you focus on a specific opening that you?
Yeah, then I'm going to come to the opening. So after so I have 2 hours of reading a chess book, which is endgame, 1 hour tactics, 2 hours open video. That's 5 hours. Then I spend 1 hour on opening. Okay. So because opening is also very important. So it is good to ensure that you know the openings you play. So if you want to focus on the King's Indian, you focus on the King's Indian. You need to know everything about the King's Indian. If you're playing it as black, you need to know all responses as white, because there are different variations of white. You need to know every single response, because your opponent can hit you with anything, especially when he looks at your game. If he notices that you've not faced this particular type of white opening, he wants to play that. He wants to know if you can actually play it. If he wants to know if you've actually seen it before, because maybe you've never seen it before. So you need to focus on your opening, try to expand your opening. Well, first of all, you need to focus on knowing the opening you play very well. Let's say you're playing King's Indian, you need to know everything on the King's Indian. Then after learning the King's Indian, it is also good to expand your horizon, in the sense that it's good to try something like the Slav, or it's good to try something like the Queen's Indian or Queen's Gambit. It's good to expand it, because sometimes I've noticed that sometimes the opening it moves from one opening to another. So you might start with the King's Indian, but at the point it gets to a kind of position where you need to play D5 and change it to the ground field. So I spend about 1 hour working on the opening. Then I spend, that's 6 hours. Then I spend about 1 hour on my blitz. Okay. So because in a way, like I said, as much as yes, chess involves three things. Okay, I'll come back to that. But I spend 1 hour on blitz, playing and analyzing my games, because as much as I'm studying, I still need to play.
That's right. Playing is an important
part. So
I
need to play, and I need to analyze those games I have played, because it's only from analyzing those games I'll be able to tell if they are a form of weakness that I'm not seeing during the game. Or I'll try to know where I made the mistakes. I'll try to know where I can correct, so that the next time I face that opening, or I face that kind of structure, or I face that kind of tactics, I don't need to think, because I just played it like 2 days ago. So all I need to do is just play the right thing. I'm not going to play the wrong thing anymore. I'm going to play the right thing now. So you understand? So that's why it's good to analyze your game. So I spend about 1 hour doing that, playing blitz and analyzing your games. I don't like to play blitz so much, but it could be addictive sometimes. Sometimes I spend more than 1 hour playing it, because after 7 hours, what am I going to do? I have to do something. So sometimes I get to play more blitz. But the thing I want to advise for young players, I see a lot of young players, they message me and tell me, I'd like you to coach me. I would like to do that, but I don't think I have enough time for that right now, because I'm still working as an engineer. I'm still studying chess. I'm still training on my own to improve, to become a grandmaster. Mm-hmm. And I still need to plan myself, my daily life. So it's not very easy to now have students that I coach.
That's right. So it's challenging for you because you're working full time.
Yes.
So tell us, how are you able to study 7 hours when you're still working, or do you typically study when you're off?
No. So right now I'm doing this 7 hours program because I'm off. I'm during my time off.
Okay, but when you're back to work, you won't be able to do 7 hours anymore.
When I'm back to work, I won't be able to go 7 hours, but I'll be able to go maybe 3 hours.
Okay.
So after work, because I work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So after work,
so 12 hours.
I can do a 3 hours training, and I end by 9 p.m. I go to bed by 9 p.m. and I have to wake up by 4 a.m.
That's right.
Sometimes I go to bed by 10 p.m. I have to wake up by 4 a.m. So that's about 6 hours sleep, which is fair enough for a young guy. So the thing I advise young players is that it's not just about playing blitz. You need to focus on the 3 areas of improvement, which is you need to study, you need to gain knowledge. Knowledge is very, very important, because you see some players, some grandmasters, they play some moves. You cannot just, they were not born with those moves. They have to study those things.
That's right. Yeah.
You have to study it. Yeah. So studying involves what I'm doing now, which is the training pattern, which involves studying the opening, studying the middle game, studying the end game. Then you still do your tactics. So that's why I classify as study. Then after studying, you need to play, because you need to practice what you've studied. Because if you just keep studying and studying and studying and studying,
it's head knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to put it to use.
You need to practice it. So it's good to practice it. So you need to play. Sometimes it is better to play a classical game, but it's not very easy to play a classical game.
That's right.
Because now you have the corona, and so what I need, when you say play, you can also play blitz. It helps, especially when you're practicing what you've studied. So you play blitz for a particular amount of time, then you analyze your games. So that's the three ways of improvement. You study, you play, and you analyze. Those three things. If any chess player can focus and do those three things consistently every day, then I see you becoming a grandmaster, because that's what the grandmasters do.
Wow, wonderful. No, I totally agree with you. I think you've shared a lot of insights today for players that are listening. I mean, if I recall, just going back, the fact that you're very disciplined, and I see that now, it shows in the way you're studying. I mean, how many people study chess for 7 hours the way you do? And if you look at the way you break down your study, right? You spend majority of that time actually studying, right? And you only spend 1 out of those 7 hours playing out the games, and then at the end of the day, just analyzing your game to see where you made mistakes and what you can improve. So I think the discipline is very key. You talked about that. You talked about how discipline helps you combine your studies with chess. Where a lot of people struggle, and I think that is an important point for students, because we want chess players to pursue their academic careers as well, right?
Definitely.
You don't want to lay all your eggs on one thing and then get frustrated, because today there are so many grandmasters today that have regular jobs, right? And so that's something a lot of players can do. So that's good. I think you've covered quite a lot of stuff for players, and you've particularly focused on how they should study, right? So spending time studying their openings, doing tactics, and looking at middle games, and then spending time actually playing out their moves as well, whether in classical games and in blitz. But even more importantly is analyzing their games to see where they went wrong. So I think those are some very, very key tips for young players. And it's impressive that you're pursuing your title as a GM. I think there's a race to become the first Nigerian Grandmaster.
There is.
We can't wait to see who that will be. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know the time. But I'm very sure it's going to be very soon with the caliber of players that we're having that are coming up. So that's good. So for players that are interested in you, players that are motivated after hearing you chat about chess, how can they get a hold of you? How can people reach you?
Okay, so I'm actually very available. I'm on. You can actually WhatsApp me. You can actually send me a message on Lichess. Like my name is
So WhatsApp, what's your number on WhatsApp? Is that something the players will
No,
know?
my number on WhatsApp is 0806 793 1005. That's my number. And a lot of people have been messaging me trying to find out, like I said, if I could coach them. But I apologize one more time. I'm sorry I cannot coach you, but I can always advise you. I can always help you out. If you have something particular you want me to help you with, I can always help you with. It's give you a guideline. You understand? I could look through your games. I could look through your games and tell you where you're having your weaknesses and advise you on how you can overcome those weaknesses. Because at the point, if every chess player has its strength and its weaknesses. So yes, you need to keep working on your strength, but you need to know your weaknesses and try and avoid the game going to that point. You understand what I mean?
That's right.
So I think that's just it's a little bit tricky, but that chess involves a lot of trick. You need to avoid the game from being in that point of your weakness, or you need to avoid the game from staying too long in that point of your weakness. So there's some chess players, they don't understand the opening very well. They don't have that time to study the opening. to learn all the different kind of, because there's a lot of opening. So they just want to play a particular kind of opening.
That's right.
So, and they want to try and stay in that structure. They don't want to move to any kind of structure. They don't want to change anything. So that's it. If that's what you want to do, you have to stay on that. You need to work on that
and you have to study it,
and make sure that immediately after playing that structure, you want to go to the opening. Sorry, the middle game, to start to play the middle game. Maybe that's where you have your strength. And I know some chess players, someone like okay, I don't want to call anybody's name. I know some chess players, their strength is in their middle game. Their opening is very poor, but their middle game is fantastic. So for me, when I play those people, I focus on the middle, on the opening. I want to make sure that I gain a substantial amount of advantage.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. For those chess players, so is that the only way they can reach you on WhatsApp? Are you on social media as well?
Yeah. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram. My Instagram name is Nonso Polo.
Okay, Nonso Polo. Okay.
NONSOPOLO. That is my Instagram name, and that is the same name I use on Lichess, because Lichess is getting very, very popular now.
Okay.
So that is the same name I use on Lichess, and people are free to look through my games, ask me for any advice they want. If they want ebooks, I could always try and send them ebooks. Because why I try to help chess players is because I've been helped a lot by a lot of my friends that chess players are older than me. So I did not deserve it in any way. They just felt like, okay, they want to pass on this knowledge to the next generation. That's why they helped me. Kramer Lalibo did the same thing. Ochukwuno Novige did the same thing. Martins Amapipi, people in Port Harcourt, people.
So those players, are they still active? Are they still active players, or they are just active coaches?
No, everybody plays.
They're still playing actively.
Play actively. Like Kramer
So
Lalibo.
that's one thing I love about the game, right? You can play it in your 80s, 90s. You can play it forever.
Yeah, I remember losing to David Rabo. I don't know if you know David Rabo.
No, I don't know him. No.
David Rabo is a lawyer, a big lawyer in Lagos, and he's very, very strong. I remember losing to him just before I traveled to Tunisia in a rapid game, and I felt like I'm actually sure I'm ready to spend over $1 million going to Tunisia to play chess when an old man is winning me. but I knew very well that chess is a game that involves it's something that it's all about the mindset. So you should have a winning mindset, in the sense that even if you lose a game, doesn't mean you feel demoralized and say, okay, I want to quit, because that's what happens to a lot of us. It happens to a lot of us when you lose a game. It's very difficult for you to come back strong.
That's right.
And start winning. So it's something that I'll try to advise the young players. You need to have a positive mindset, a mindset that even when you lose, even when you go for a competition and don't win, believe that you can train harder and go for the next competition and win.
Yeah, and I think that is an important point, right? The fact that they should take their defeat as lessons, right? So people should learn from their defeats and use it as an opportunity to improve themselves and to continue with their career. And one thing I want to say to the Nigerian players, one of the reasons why we are starting NigerianChessClub.com is because we want to bring a lot of help to those players, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I'm having conversations with all the top Nigerian players to see how together as a group, we'll be able to provide training, provide support, right, to all the Nigerian players. So that's why we're building this platform. So just hang in there. We're coming, a lot of help is coming to all the young players. You're going to be hearing quite a bit from these strong players in terms of what they're doing for chess and what they are doing to make sure that Nigeria gets to the limelight when it comes to chess, not just in West Africa. We're already dominating West Africa, but eventually we want to dominate Africa and then showcase ourselves in the world. So that's interesting. So I've got some quick questions for you. So one, what is your favorite opening as white?
My favorite opening as white is E4.
E4. Wow, wonderful. Okay, so that's the mark of an aggressive player.
Yeah,
So that is so that is
because
good.
when I finally choose, I'll tell you just very short one. I'll just tell you why I chose E4. When I was very young, I used to play E4 and D4. But before the National Sport Festival, my first National Sport Festival, I spoke to myself and I asked myself, this National Sports Festival, I know very well that you need to get a perfect score for you to be able to win a gold medal. What that means is that if you get a draw, you cannot win a gold medal anymore. The chances are very slim. So I told myself that means I need to go all out. I need to be all out for a win. I need to go out aggressive. I need to go all out for a win because draws doesn't give you anything. Playing D4 is very conservative, very calm, and very slow. So a lot of times you could come to a dry ending and game might just end in a draw, and that's you're winning nothing in the National Sports Festival. So that's how I started to play E4. But now I'm starting to learn how to play D4 and Knight F3. For my main opening is still A4.
Excellent. What about as black? What's your best opening as black?
So as black
against E4, against D4.
Against E4, I like to play the Sicilian Dragon because
you're a dragon player. Okay.
Yeah, it's also a very aggressive opening. So I like to play the Sicilian Dragon. I started from playing the Sicilian Dragon with E4, C5, Knight F3, D6. But now I started to play it with instead of D6, I like to play Knight C6 because Knight C6 it's like a modern way of playing it.
Okay,
I like playing Knight C6. So I play Sicilian
So you probably got a lot of motivation from the world champion.
Yeah. I got him.
I mean, he plays it differently, but
yeah, I watch a lot of his videos. He's also spectacular. So he teaches you a lot.
All right, so tell us, what's your best chess book ever?
Sorry, I was just going to say against D4, I like to play the King's Indian.
Oh, the King's Indian. That's right.
Against D4, yes. I like to
Kasparov. I'm sure you would have gone through a lot of Garry Kasparov's games.
Yeah.
He's an aggressive player as well.
It's very aggressive.
Okay, excellent.
So for my favorite book, I would say my favorite book is the 100 Endgames You Should Know.
Oh, the 100 chess games. Yeah, Endgames You Should Know. I think I know that book. I've not read it yet. I have it on. Do you have an account with Chessable?
Yes, I have an account with Chessable.
Okay, all right, excellent. So that's where I got the book from. So I have an account with Chessable too.
Yeah,
it's such a good. I think such a good platform in terms of helping you improve your chess.
Yeah, everything is all structured. It teaches you a lot of different aspects of the end game, and it's something you can actually just go and review if you feel you played an end game in a very wrong way in a particular kind of structure, and you cannot. Let's say you've played a rook end game very poorly. You go back to the rook end game, you read through it, you'll be like, let me look at the rook end game again, and you get motivated. And when next you come to play it, because something about some books, they just tell you something like this book tells you something that you can actually use in playing. Because like in a rook endgame, you should know very well that the most important thing is activating your rook. Your rook should be active. So if you can remember that all the time, then you realize that you played better. At the expense of a pawn at the time, you can even, if your rook is active, you know your opponent cannot crash through.
That's right.
So that's a good book I like.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, thank you so much. This has been an excellent conversation. Getting to know your history as a chess player and your dreams as you look forward to becoming a grandmaster. That's awesome. So why don't we talk about the game you want to share? So I think now you can go ahead and share your screen. Let's look at the game.
Okay. So I believe you can see the screen.
That's right. That's right. So set the stage a little bit about this game. So you are playing white here against Daniel. How do you pronounce that last name?
Daniel. He's actually from Romania, and so before this game, it's a very important game. He's not a grandmaster. I have some games which I played against a grandmaster, and I won them. But I don't want to show those games. I want to show a game that is very important because this game was played in the last round of the Gibraltar Challenger B.
Okay. What year was this? Was this 2020?
2020.
Okay, this year. Okay.
This was January 2020. It was played in the last round. So what happened is that I was just coming from Seville, Spain, and I played the event in Seville, Spain, and I took tied 16 to 28. So I should get a prize. We were meant to get a prize, which is, even if it's very little, but they said there was no sharing. So I did not get a prize there. Okay. Because my tie break was very bad. So I felt very bad in a way because I felt like I've worked very hard. I've played the event without losing any game. I deserve a prize, but I did not get a prize there. So,
how many rounds was that tournament? That tournament was?
It was a 9-round tournament.
9 round. Okay. So how did you finish? How many points did you finish?
I finished 6.5 over 9.
That's awesome. That's awesome performance.
Yeah. Wow. So I did not get a prize there because there was no sharing, but I deserved to get a prize. So coming to this event in Gibraltar, we already played the Challenger A. The Challenger A, I was a top seed. I was about in the 4th position or 3rd position. I started, I had a good rating. So I assumed I was going to win a prize because of my good rating. But in a way, I did not play very well because of that assumption that I deserve it. So what that means is that because of you have a higher rating than most players, doesn't mean those players are not strong. They're also very strong players. So I crashed out from the Challenger A. I did not win a prize in that Challenger A. So so imagine I've played 2 events without winning a prize. And that's unlike me because most times in West Africa and in Nigeria, when I play an event, I always win a prize. So even if it's just 5th position or fifth, any amount, as in, even if it's just like $10, and at least it feels a form of gratitude that, oh, you got something. So this event, I started well. So I was 3.5 out of 4. It's a 5-round event. 3.5 out of 4. The game before this event, I already drew it. I was having a better position during the end game, but the game ended in a draw. So what that meant was that 2 people were leading me. So 2 people were about to win a prize. 2 people were 4 over 4. Why I was 3.5 over 4. Why my opponent was 4 over 4.
Oh wow! Okay.
So
this is the last round.
This is the last round. I needed to crash him down to win a prize. So my mindset coming into this game was that I needed to win or I needed to draw to win a prize. So I don't need to lose. But I couldn't tell what my opponent was thinking about, if he wanted to win or he wanted to draw. So let's just start the game and I'll explain.
So did you do any research about this player? Did you expect? Did you know what to expect from him?
Yeah, so I looked at his games. I noticed that he plays E4 and he plays very, very well. He plays very good, but he's quite aggressive. So you're looking at his opening. I noticed he plays the Rai Lopez as black. So I'm comfortable playing the Rai Lopez very well. But there are different variations black will come up with, and I wasn't very sure about what variation to come up he's going to play. So I wanted to play the variation I like to play. And this variation I played, I learned it from Amin Bassin, which is like my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
The mentor is someone I've looked through virtually all his games because I respect the way he plays. He's number 1 in Africa. He's been number 1 in Africa for a long time right now. So and I like the opening he plays. He plays a funny kind of opening. He doesn't play the common opening. So I'll start with I started with so 1 second. I started with E4.
Yeah.
So my opponent played E5. I already expected this. Knight F3, Knight C6. So we all know he's protecting the pawn. Bishop B5. This is the Rai Lopez.
Yeah.
So getting to this is the position I wanted to get to. He played A6, Bishop A4. So still keeping the opportunity to capture the knight and capture the pawn on E5.
Yeah.
So I could still keeping the opportunity to capture this and capture this pawn here. But so he played Knight F6. So I played this move. This is where the game had a bit of a different note, in the sense that yes, it's the last round, so I wasn't very sure about what he prepares. I could decide to play the normal line with Castle.
That's right.
With Castle, instead of this, I could decide to just play the normal line with just Castle. But I wanted to play this Bishop E2 variation because I knew it's not something that is very common, and I wanted us to play with our head.
Yeah.
Not
so he
based
probably
on,
was not expecting this.
yes, he wasn't expecting it. I didn't want it to be based on his preparation because, like I said, he's from Romania. There are so many grandmasters in Romania. He might have
That's right. That's
a lot of grandmaster coaches that might have told him a lot of things. And this is the last round. He might want to win this game because if he wins this game, he becomes the champion and he goes home with about £2,000. So I thought about it. I was like, okay, I'll play something strange a little bit. So he played B5, Bishop B3, Bishop E7, A4. So naturally, this line there's some traps involved in this line. So let me show you a little bit of a trap involved in this line. So sometimes if you play Bishop B3, your opponent can play Bishop C5. So when you play this A4 move, now you're about to capture the pawn for free. So sometimes some people just push this pawn. If you push this pawn, you've blundered already because you can just capture this Bishop check. Yeah. When you capture this,
okay.
Let's say whenever you move, you can come with a check and all that. So it's just an idea in the sense that the bishop cannot come out aggressively anymore. He has to like stay indoors. So after that, he played Bishop E7. So I played A4, Rook B8, capture, castle. I'll just try and go a little bit faster here.
Yeah.
He castled. I played C3, played D6, H3, stopping the bishop from coming to Bishop G4.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now, so he was left. He had to play. He played Bishop E6 with the mindset that, okay, since the bishop cannot come to G4, he wanted to just exchange it on A6, which is part of it's quite a line. Sometimes I do retreat.
Oh, why did you capture? Yeah.
Sometimes I do retreat, but at this kind of position, I did not want any form of I did not want him to feel superior in any way, in the sense that I did not want to start to retreat, because I did not want a situation where we enter this game with him being on top. I wanted a situation where we come out from the opening balanced. I wasn't going to play an aggressive opening. I wanted to play a very calm opening.
Yeah. Because
I wasn't very scared of getting a draw. As much as I'll almost go home with nothing from getting a draw, but I'll get some money. Yeah. And I'll feel that I did not lose any game. And I was playing for my rating too. I had a rating of 2220, so I was already trying to not lose any rating too. So I wanted to play a little bit cautious too. So because if I play, assuming I play the bishop out back to Bishop C2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now he can decide to play.
He has a break now. He can break.
He has a break, and besides, he can play anything he likes in the sense. And I felt capturing the bishop gives him a double pawn first.
Yeah, but that is threatening his center and also opening a 5 for his rook.
Yes, that's doing that. But notwithstanding, I was going to play. I felt. In this kind of position, I could decide to just play maybe D3. I'm just saying, I could decide to play D3, and he cannot really. This pawn is always going to be a weakness because I have Bishop Knight G5 and all that coming up very soon. But that's and I'll show you later in the game that E6 pawn was actually a weakness, and I capitalized on it. So I played Rook A6, threatening to capture the knight. He played Knight Queen C8. Indirectly protecting the knight, because if I capture the knight now, so let's say I capture the knight now, he can play queen here, trapping my rook. My rook has nowhere to go to.
That's right.
Or it's a variation I should have gone for, but at this point, I was still feeling very tense. It's a last round game, and I was tense. He was tense. I could feel him being tense, taking off his jacket and all that. So I could tell that he was tense. I could tell that he was tense too, and we're playing very fast here. So at this point, I wasn't very sure because I could capture this knight takes this, because now I'm a piece up, so I can give him this piece back. The moment he captures this, I could capture this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's
attacking the bishop, but he has to play bishop d6, protecting it. But now my rook is trapped, so my rook has to sacrifice itself for this.
yeah.
But don't forget, I've already captured I've captured 2 pawns and a knight.
That's right.
If I capture this, so let's say I play something like d3 now, and he attacks my rook, I have to capture this. So
right.
he takes. So now if you look at the position, he has his 2 pawns down for my rook, while I have his bishop and his knight. So it's a little bit it's something I should do, but like I said, I didn't want to enter any form of complication. I wanted a form of stable game.
Yeah.
So I did not go for that variation. I wanted a stable game. I wanted us to just play calmly for a while. But he is quite an aggressive player, and I noticed that in his style of play from when I analyzed the game. So I wanted more of a quiet game. Like I told you before, when I study, I do my tactics, I do my open, I do my end game. So I was ready to take him to the end game.
That's right.
So I was ready to push the game all the way to the end game. So he played queen c8, and I went back.
Yeah.
So at this point, he played knight d7. So he's trying to create as much activity as possible. He's taking the knight back. He wants to put the knight on maybe b6. He wants to play bishop f6. He wants to, because he knows I want to play d4. So he's trying to make sure that he can have a lot of pieces attacking the d4 square.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about this position. So it looks like he seemed to be slightly ahead in development, right? So you still have your knight and bishop in the background.
Yes, that's correct.
He has an open 5 for his rook. You do have an open 5 for your rook on the a5.
Yes.
So it looks like he's ahead, slightly ahead in development here.
Yeah, that's correct.
Was this something that was concerning to you?
No, it wasn't a problem to me, because I understand this variation. I know very well that I have the moment I play, he cannot stop me from playing d4.
That's right.
And the moment I play d4, my bishop can leave this, come out. My bishop is going to be active. My knight can always develop. So he as much as my pieces are still inward, my pieces are not restricted by any means. He cannot restrict any of my pieces from developing.
That's right.
So because I had that in mind, I wasn't worried. So he played knight there. All I was just trying to do is play a very calm game. So if at all I'm going to go aggressive, I'm going to go aggressive when I have a very, very strong position against him. I'm going to slowly build it up against him. That was my plan. But he didn't plan the same thing. He wanted to just make the position very aggressive. So I played d4. He played bishop f6. I played bishop e3, protecting the pawn on d4.
Yeah.
He played queen out. So he's just connecting his rook and trying to ensure that his pieces are coordinated.
That's
the
right.
only piece
now
to
play b4. So.
Yeah, trying to play b4. So I played knight d2, just developing. So he captured here, and knight here. So this is the point where I started to as much as I played very fast, but I have to ask myself a question: where is this knight going to? Yes, we all know the knight wants to go to c2, or maybe capture my bishop. That's a possibility, and that's one possibility. The next possibility is that he wants to play c5, because his c7 pawn is backwards, so he wants to play c5. That's part of the Rilo pairs. Naturally, once he wants to achieve c5, and he wants to be able to, his bishop will be more active with that.
That's right.
So that and like I said, I already knew this pawn on e6 is a little bit of a weakness. So I feel my queen's position, which came to e2 in the beginning of the game with the aim of achieving that trap, it's not doing that job anymore.
That's right.
So I have to move it to where it's going to be more active. And I felt the most active place for my queen is going to be on b3.
Okay.
So b3 is going to be attacking this pawn. It's going to be defending the c2 square, which he wants to. So that's why I played queen d1.
Okay.
So, which I already knew he was going to play c5. So he played the c5 and I played queen b3. So now I'm attacking his e6 pawn. I'm stopping the knight from coming to c2. I'm attacking the knight. Well, I cannot capture it, but if he plays c4, I'm going to capture the knight.
Yeah.
If he captures the d4 pawn, if he captures the d4 pawn, I'm going to capture the knight. So at this point, he moved his king out, which wasn't really called for. I feel he should have just protected the pawn. But like I said, I feel he's an aggressive player, so he wants a dynamic position. He's noticed that I'm not going to play that dynamically. I'm going to play quietly, calmly. So he played this. So maybe if I capture this, if I capture the pawn, so let's say if I capture this now, I don't know, maybe he wants to play rook here. I'm not so sure he wants to play that, but he wants a dynamic position. Maybe he wants to capture, maybe he might want to, okay, I think if he captures this, maybe he might want to play something like knight here. Then capture this d4 pawn. So let's say if I move here, he captures d4 pawn. But I wasn't so sure exactly what the plan is, what he wants to go out. So, but I did not want a situation where his pieces are so active. So I played e5. I played e5 first. So the idea behind playing e5 is to ensure that now if he tries to let's say he tries to, okay, no, e5, yeah, I want to push his pieces back. So he tries to gain the pawn. There's actually a free pawn there on e5. So if he tries to gain this pawn with the knight or something, so the moment let's say he captures with the knight and I capture with the knight, capture, he has this pawn here.
That's right.
I'm attacking the rook and attacking the knight. So that's not really very good for him. He obviously sees that and he wouldn't want to go for that. So now what I'm doing is I'm restricting his pieces from playing. So he had no choice than to play bishop e7, move back with the bishop. So his pieces are the bishop that was active before is no more active anymore.
That's right.
You understand? So the moment I achieve that, now I can now capture this pawn on e6.
Because now you can capture with tempo.
With the tempo, yes. I'm attacking the bishop with that. So he had to protect the bishop back first, and I move back. So psychologically, let's know. I try to when I'm analyzing a game, I'm trying my best to get the computer out of it. Computer analysis. I don't want people to look at the computer, what the computer is saying, because computer says yes, I should take my queen to g4. But at this position, the first thing is I'm a pawn up, and this is the last round of a tournament. Yes, his pieces could get active because he can now play things like c4 and all that. But the thing that comes to my mind is that I'm one pawn up, and he needs to find way to capture that pawn. And it's not like he has an attack on my king. My king is safe.
That's right.
The only thing is that his pieces can get very active. But if that's going to happen for the cost of a pawn, I don't mind. Let's play. That's my mindset. So he plays c4, attacking my queen. My queen has to go somewhere. My queen went to c3, knight d5, queen c2, and he captured my bishop. Because my bishop, he could see that my bishop is quite strong there. He wants to give me a double pawn. And I cannot really avoid it. If I try to play queen like queen d4, I wasn't so sure I like such a move. So I just decided to play queen c2. He captured, gave me the double pawn, and attacked my pawn on e3. So what can I do? Just protect it. I could protect it with the rook, but I didn't want to give the open fight. I protected it with the queen. So what I'm doing is that as much as after this bishop move, maybe he calculated and felt that okay, now he's trying to capture my pawn on e3, and he's trying to capture my pawn on e5. You see, these two pawns are hanging. But so he wouldn't have analyzed that. Assuming I play a rook move, let's say I play this rook now. All he does is just captures this and is equal pieces.
That's right.
And I have a weak e pawn, which is most likely my fall later. And I think he's just gonna win here. So like I said, I'm playing the game calmly. So I played queen at protecting it. He played knight here. Now he wants to play the knight to d5.
That's right.
And capture this pawn. So you could see he's coming at me. He's an aggressive player. That's what he's doing. He's coming at me with all he has trying to make sure that he makes the position as dynamic as possible.
That's right.
But like I said, I'm trying to play quietly, and I'm also trying to create my own chances too. So I play knight b3. So the idea behind this move is if he doesn't want to capture, because he captures the knight, he has his bishop is hanging, so he cannot do that. So now his pieces have to move back again. You see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to make sure that his pieces cannot be active. He's trying to make his pieces active as possible. So he went back his pieces. I put my knight on d4.
Yeah, that's a strong square for a knight. Yeah.
That's an outpost. It's very strong for the knight. Put his knight on d5. I went back with the queen, still protecting my pawn on e3, because you have to make sure that as much as you want to be tactical or whatever, you need to make sure that your pieces are not hanging, because they say loose pieces fall off. So if I don't protect, it's going to just capture it.
That's right.
So bishop c5. Now he's threatening all sorts of things. Well, not really at this moment, but he's trying to keep those pieces active. He's brought out the bishop. He wants the bishop to be on c5.
Yeah.
So I just moved my king out. I could play on any other team, but I moved my king out because I want my king to be safe.
Yeah,
I don't
that
want
makes
to
sense.
from where he captures on e3. Then I'm under a lot of pain with the bishop.
That's right.
Knight b4, bringing his pieces into my camp. Like I said, he wants to come at me. Like at this moment in time, or even before now, even like some couple of moves ago, I already noticed that he's not just playing for a draw. I started to suspect. I wasn't very sure, but I suspected that he wasn't playing for a draw. He wanted to win this game. But I wasn't very sure at this point, but I started to sense it. So I told myself, just hold on and see how the game goes. So now what he's threatening is that, let's assume I play something like here. He's just going to play knight d3, attacking my queen and attacking this pawn.
Yeah. And
like I said, I'm a pawn up, so I need to hold this pawn. I have some weaknesses. Yeah, this pawn are not very strong. But notwithstanding, I can try and hold it as long as possible.
Yeah.
So that's my plan. So instead of playing the rook move, I played e6, because I know very well that the moment the knight comes in, the e6 pawn is protected now by this other knight. He cannot get to this pawn. So
I thought you can still play your rook. I thought you can still play rook to d1 here, because now the knight cannot come there, right? Because now you just captured the knight, right?
Okay, yeah, that's true. I could play. Okay, sorry. I could play rook. So instead of playing e6, I could play rook d1.
Yeah.
And he plays this. And let's say, definitely he's not going to play that. Let's say he might just want to move his bishop out a little bit first.
Right.
Then threaten to play that. But what I was trying to do is that I was trying to make sure that my pieces are still very active, in the sense that I want my rook to still be in the king's side, defending, because I know he's going to come up with different. Like, let's say he might get tempted to want to sack at this point. He might get tempted to want to sack a piece.
Yeah, but I think he has to prepare for it a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has to prepare for it a little bit more. Play queen in or something. Let's see. So.
Or maybe just take. I think I understand what you're saying. So bishop can capture the knight here. Then depending on what you capture with. So let's say.
Yeah, just say bishop captures knight. Just say I capture with the pawn.
Capture with your pawn. Then
I just capture this.
Then now maybe he can take.
You understand? So with this, this is what he wants. I don't want to give him this.
Yeah.
Because even if he might not be 100% winning, but he's just going to be the one playing for the win. So I don't want to give him such a thing, such an opportunity. So I just left my rook there, and I played e6. So he played queen out, and I played queen d2. So all I'm just trying to do is just hold the position as much as possible, connecting my rooks. Knight in, queen e2. h6. So rook d1. I'm just trying to hold as much as possible.
So why did your rook come to d1? I thought the rook.
Okay, so
didn't you just go to a7 and try to?
No, yeah. Yes.
Oh, no, you can't go to a7 now because of the bishop.
I could go maybe to this point. Maybe a5. and try to capture the pawn. I feel it's something he could always just protect. And after he protects it, my rook, it will not be playing, it will not be actually threatening anything anymore. And it's not going to be defending. I want to be able to defend the position. That the way I see it, I want to be able to defend the position and threaten something. So with this, well, we did on this rank now, anytime I move out my rook and my knight from here, I'm going to be threatening. If he captures this, I'm going to try to capture with the rook.
That's right.
That's what I was thinking about at the moment. But like I said, that move might not be a bad move, playing the rook to a5. Or now he's threatening, which is not actually correct. But in the game, I was thinking it was correct. He's threatening to capture this. So let's say I play something like this. Let's say I play something like this, which is dumb. But he's going to capture this because my queen is under a pin. Then we just capture this.
That's right.
Then my queen will fall.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not going to let him do that. So that's what I felt was the idea behind playing the rook there. So I played knight d2. I played knight d2.
Okay.
Knight d2, chasing the queen out of that position. He played queen h4, moving to an active, still in an active square. Now he's threatening to play the knight to f2.
That's right.
Okay. So I capture my rook. So let's say if I play something like b3 now, you just play knight f2.
That's right.
You understand? I have to capture, or let's say I move this, capture my rook, and he has the advantage. I wouldn't let him do such a thing. So queen h4 in an active square, so I had to block it again. Come back on with the knight, chasing the queen out from there.
Yeah.
So he played queen back to that particular position.
So now you are thinking, is he looking for a draw?
So now I'm wondering. I couldn't really tell what he wants. For me, I wasn't so sure. I wanted to find out for myself. And don't forget, we're playing. I had the very less time. We had about maybe 15 minutes to finish the game here. So we had very less time here, and I didn't want to go down on time because I know time pressure have cost me a lot of my victories. And have made me lose a lot of games when you're under time pressure. So I played the move back, attacking the queen, because what else would I play? I need to hold. I could decide to play something like b3 at this point. Let's say queen if I can decide to play something like b3 to weaken up the knight square. But I wasn't so sure. He's still threatening something like this, like I said before, bishop times.
Yeah.
You understand? When I capture this, my queen is hanging. So I didn't want to let him have all that. So I came back with the knight again, attacking the queen.
Yeah.
So now he moved to a different square.
Oh, okay.
He moved to g6.
So now you know he doesn't want to draw.
Now, so now I was now able to tell 100% that this man doesn't want to draw. You understand? He wants to win this game. This game, which the funny thing is that even if he takes a draw, he wins. He still wins a lot. He would be second position, and he would gain rating. But he wanted to win the first position, which was £2,000. And so I played my knight back to the same active square, just solidifying, because I don't want him to capture, because now he's moved to this point. He's threatening to capture my knight. Let's say if I play something foolish like this, he's threatening to capture my knight. When I capture this, then this pawn is hanging. Or he can just capture this first, then capture the pawn.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't let him do that. So I played, after knight g6, I played back, holding the position, so that I can capture my knight again. So he played rook here. He played rook e8. That's right. And now, I've always been looking for a way. The knight being in that position, I'm not comfortable with that knight there.
That's right.
So I don't want to capture this pawn. Because I capture this pawn, let's say, because this pawn is hanging. Don't forget, the black pawn is hanging. I can capture this. But the moment I capture that, I just feel he's just going to be winning because he's going to capture this very important pawn I have.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's attacking my e3 pawn, and I cannot really protect this. I'm almost lost here.
Yeah.
So but this knight on D3 is a troublesome knight, and I've been looking at the knight since, and I'm like trying to eliminate it. But the only way I know I can eliminate it is if I eliminate this pawn structure, these pawns. So that's why I played B3.
Yeah.
Because I know he cannot capture the pawn, he cannot push it. If he captures it, that his knight will be hanging.
That's right.
So he played, at this point, he played the queen back. But now I know this pawn is now very weak. So what he's done is that he has gone into an inferior position to continue the game, which is what happens to a lot of people when they don't want to play for draw, which is a bad habit. I do that sometimes. I make the mistake sometimes, but it's not very good, because a lot of times if your opponent has played the position to a particular point, let's say he has played 30 moves or 35 moves and he's gotten a certain position, then you should respect him.
Yeah.
It's not very good to go into an inferior position because you want to win. It's not always advisable. So the moment he played this, I knew that was a blunder, because I know now this structure is now weakened. So I can now capture the pawn, captures, and I played knight d2. So now the knight d2 I used to play before was just to chase the queen away, but now it's not just chasing the queen away. Now I'm threatening to capture this pawn now.
That's right.
And the moment I capture this pawn, let's say he moves here. The moment I capture this pawn, I'm attacking this knight.
That's right.
He doesn't have enough time to capture whatever he wants to capture. Let's say he wants to gain whatever. He doesn't have enough time for that because the knight is hanging. So he saw that very well. So after I played the knight d2, he moved to d5. So what he's doing is that he's protecting the pawn in a way. Even if it's not 100% protecting it, but at least he knows that if I capture it, he can capture with the queen.
That's right.
So let's say if I capture this, he captures. Then let's say if I try to gain this, he just liquidates everything.
That's right.
He just liquidates everything. Let's say I capture with this. Well, right. maybe.
Well, now you're going to be a pawn up. Looks like an end game you can win. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but at least what he did was he's trying to hold the position. I'm still a pawn up. So, but right. I'm suspecting that. But instead of liquidating, I felt I had a stronger move, because I could see very well that this pawn, just the queen is protecting it. So I need to get the queen away from that position. That's why I found this move with f5. Very strong move. And at this point, I'm already winning.
Okay. Yeah, that's a strong move. I was looking at, what about e4? Oh, no. Okay, that would lose. The knight will be hanging.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a strong move, yeah.
That's a very strong move. So he has options like maybe knight e5, but knight e5 is not really strong, because I might just be able to capture.
Yeah, you can just pin the knight.
Yeah, I can just. It's under a pin already. I can even just play this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't prefer this. I'll prefer to just capture the knight. I think this is just fair enough. Just capture the pawn, sorry, on c4.
Yeah.
He captures this, his queen is hanging, so he cannot capture with the knight, because I'll capture the queen. So he has to maybe capture with the queen. But I feel, but he played, for whatever reason, personally, I felt he would have just played knight e5 or maybe queen here. But at this point, he started to think a lot, and you know something that happened in chess is that, because at this point you can still hold by playing this kind of move or playing knight e5. It's a better move than what he played. But at this point he was thinking a lot.
And there's time pressure, yeah. I know.
There was time. His time was ticking down. He was having maybe 4 minutes or something like that. From 15 minutes, we both have 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it shows here that he had 2 minutes. So he has 2 minutes, and you had 12.
Yeah. This is the final. The timing here is just the final timing that the game ended.
At the end of the game, okay.
Yeah. So he had 4 minutes around this point when he made his final decision. But he was thinking, and I know what goes through chess players' mind. you instead of thinking about the position, you'll be thinking and asking yourself, I had a better position before, and instead of going for the draw, I've got into an inferior position by playing my queen to a different position, playing my rook out, because if his rook was here, I wouldn't be able to do that.
That's right.
You understand? So he has played his rook away from defending the position to an inferior position, and now I'm attacking his queen. So he just sacked his queen for whatever reason. Well, I wouldn't really say it was. Maybe he felt I could fall for a trap because he has a little bit of a trap here. So the moment I capture this, so he played c3.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's trying to do is, let's say I play something foolish. What will I use now? Let's say I play knight f1. You understand?
Yeah.
So he might think of, maybe he was planning to play something like this. Knight f2 by capture. But it's still not enough justification. It's still not enough justification for giving up his queen.
Yeah.
You understand? Because all he needed to do was just move out. But that's actually the game. So at this point, after he played his queen, after he sacked his queen, I sacked with my knight.
Mm-hmm.
He played c3. I played knight e4.
Yeah.
And he resigned.
Yeah, because now you're going to a native square. You're covering the f2 square.
So that's how I won £1,000 in Gibraltar in the final round. So that was why I wanted to show this game, not because it's filled with a lot of sacrifices, it's just because it's filled with a lot of it's filled with a lot of emotions. I'll call it emotions, because in the last round, people make funny decisions. Sometimes people decide to play the last round very aggressively because they want to win by all means, which is what he did here.
Yeah.
But for me, I understood the fact that I've already watched some chess videos and some grandmasters teaching me that the best way to play the last round is like every round.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So you shouldn't go. Okay, I'll just go back to stop sharing if you're happy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you. This is a good game. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So thank you. So I'll go back. So some grandmasters have taught me that the best way to play the last round is by playing it like every round. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to play a strange opening, like a very strange opening, a very strange aggressive opening. You play what you're used to, like the Queen E2 variation. I'm used to it. I play it all the time, even in Blitz. A lot of Nigerian players know that why I play. For him, he might not have seen it in my database because maybe I'm used to. I just play the normal Rai Lopez. So that's just the story behind that game. As in, it's not just about winning a higher rated player like a grandmaster. It's about playing a tense battle where you're playing for a bit of glory, you're playing for a bit of money, because Gibraltar is an expensive place. You want to gain some money you've spent already. So my opponent.
Gibraltar is in which country?
It's in the south of Spain.
Oh, okay, so it's in Spain.
It's south of Spain, but it's actually owned by the UK government. So it's actually a UK territory.
Oh, okay.
It's actually part of the UK. So yeah, I needed to get a UK visa to go there.
Okay.
So I got denied the first time, but luckily enough, the reason they gave wasn't very tangible. They said that the money coming into my account was more than I specified, or it wasn't. It was more than my salary, actually. That's what they said. But they forget the fact that I get money from chess winnings and all that. So I had to apply again, explaining to them that I do win from chess and all that. So that's why they gave me, and the organizer actually helped me out. So that's how I got the visa. But
okay. Excellent. What did the organizer do to help you out? Is it just a letter?
He instructed I think he sent a message to the
embassy.
Gibraltar embassy, because Gibraltar embassy were able to arrange it, because the organizer is a very, very nice man.
Yeah.
A very, very nice man. He helps a lot of Nigerians to come to Gibraltar every year. So this is my first time, and because of that, I actually want to go again. I enjoyed my
For the
stay.
Gibraltar events, they're typically 5 rounds. It's a
No,
5-round tournament.
the challenger event is 5 rounds. So in the Gibraltar event, you have the Masters category. So the Masters is a 10-round tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the amateur and the challenger week 1, week 2. So both of them are 5 rounds tournaments. So you have 2 events for the challengers. So what that means is that only people, I think below 2,250, something like that, that only people below that can play. Why the Masters? You have all form of grandmasters, super grandmasters playing.
Okay, so for the Masters, you have to be at least 2,300 or something like that?
No, the Masters, anybody can play.
Oh,
But
okay,
you have to register early to be able to get a slot to play.
Okay, it's probably more expensive too.
Yeah, it's slightly more expensive, the registration fee, but it gives you more exposure. So I played both events. It was very stressful because you play in the morning from 9 a.m. and whenever your game ends, the game usually ends before 3 p.m. So after the morning section, the afternoon section is the Masters event, which starts from 3 p.m. to whenever. Sometimes it ends very late at night because the time control for the Masters is very, very, very big. So you have think about 100 minutes for the first 40 moves. You have an extra 50 minutes for the next 15 moves. Then you have, I think about, is it 15 minutes? 15 minutes to finish the game, something like that. Yeah, I think that's time control, very, very large. So you can
play in both events if you want, but it's gonna be stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite stressful for me. That's why I didn't do very well in the Masters, and I feel very bad I didn't do very well in the Masters because I met some grandmasters that was already holding the position. Like a lot of my games ended like in the end game. You understand? When I lose in the end game. So I hold the position, but because I'm tired, I couldn't convert. So what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to
play the Masters. Yeah.
I'm going to play just the Masters. I'm not going to play the Open because by then I'm not really playing for the money. I'm playing for the title. I'm playing to become a grandmaster. So I'm trying to gain the title. I'm trying to gain the rating because that's the dream. So that's what I'm going to play for.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your time. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I'm going to be reaching out to you for sure as soon as we have all of this stuff ready. So the plan is, so once we have all the interviews ready, I'll send you a clip. I'll send you the full interview, but I'll also send you a clip to share on social media. So we want to use the clip for advertisements. To promote and to get more chess players interested, then get them to join the NigerianChessClub.com. So once they join, they will have access to all the full videos they can record. So the plan is for you to distribute it to all your contacts, all your followers. Then once they join, one of the things I'm planning to do is to sit with you. Maybe you'll just do a training session for 1 or 2 hours. Right, so we'll do a training session for 1 or 2 hours, and we can do different sessions depending on different levels of players, right? So what I'm trying to do is to get all players to record that session, and then we package it and then distribute to the players to Nigeria. One of the things we want to do is to actually, some of them will release for free for everyone. Some of them we package as a training and get people to subscribe. The reason why I'm doing that is as we'll get money from subscription from all of these players, we'll use part of that funds and start sponsoring players like you to go abroad to pursue your dream. So that's the idea behind this stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
Twofold. One, to provide exposure to our top players, and secondly, to get more and more people playing chess in Nigeria and to train our younger players.
Very, very nice. Very nice. It's actually a very nice initiative, and I believe it's going to be amazing. And I believe Nigeria, with the way Nigeria is going, with the way chess is going in Nigeria, I believe we have a lot of promising players. So someone will bring the title home very soon. I believe so.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you guys are all invested in chess in Nigeria. So hopefully through you, I'll get to connect with all of those mentors that helped you. I'm looking to connect with all the older players as well, just to get their wisdom. And I know they're also very interested in promoting chess in Nigeria, to get everyone's support. So I think it's all of us working together to figure out a way to.
There are a lot of advanced players that still have a lot of knowledge. They are still very, very strong. You understand? So you meet them in a tournament and you're lucky if you even get a draw. People like Odion, people like Adebayo,
Right.
all those are very strong players. Even if they're getting advanced now, but you know that if you get a draw with them, you're lucky. They're very good. It's not as if you cannot win them, but you get lucky if you do win them.
They have a lot of experience, so that's true.
And they're still constantly training. So I think chess is just, for me, I feel to the young ones, I feel you just have to keep working. You cannot leave the game like I left the game for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So you have to keep training and training, because even grandmasters, they still train. Grandmasters, they still train because a lot of times they still have a higher goal. They still put something in front of them. They always give themselves a bigger achievement, because in life in general, if you don't have a bigger achievement, you might not really feel motivated. If you don't have something you want to achieve, there might not be any motivation. So
that's right. I totally agree.
Yeah, because my main motivation, if I don't have a motivation of becoming a grandmaster or coming back as top 5 in Nigeria, or let's say top 3 in Nigeria, to represent Nigeria in the Olympiad one more time again, and there will be no need for me studying and doing 7 hours training every day.
That's right, because you already have a good job and you have a good life.
So,
are you married yet?
No, I'm not married, but hopefully one day, very soon,
You're still enjoying your bachelor life. That's good. How are your parents doing?
Yeah. My mom is fine. My dad is actually late now, but
that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So everyone.
So is your mom in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt?
So my mom is in Port Harcourt. She lectures. Like I said, I grew up in university compound, so she lectures. So maybe she has a doctorate degree. Maybe one day I might decide to join her and try and search for a doctorate degree. That's something I'm having in mind. So I'm thinking of maybe because because I know it's difficult. It's difficult traveling, as in like becoming a grandmaster from being in Nigeria. So I might want to relocate. So I'm abroad. I'm working towards my doctorate degree, and I'm also traveling around for chess events. So I'm thinking about that. Let's see what happens.
Okay, that'd be wonderful. So we'll stay in touch for sure. So it's been a pleasure getting to meet you, getting to know you. I'm so excited and looking forward to what we can do together for the Nigerian chess community, and also to make sure that you get your dream to being a grandmaster. Want to be a part of that for sure. Okay, man. So take care. So we'll stay in touch. Okay.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.